This needs to be reported again and again. I don't care about the corporate media's reports about, oh, Donald Trump's tone is changing. He is selling a $299 assassination attempt edition sneaker right now. I know I reported on that earlier, but let me just break this down, because as the MAGA Republicans are out there, now they're all at the RNC convention saying they tried to kill President Trump. They did it. They were involved in it. Who is the they? We know that the shooter was a 20-year-old white male Republican who wore Second Amendment paraphernalia, whose family had Trump signs on their yard. This was someone whose dad believed he was at the gun range, but as soon as he heard there was a shooting, called the police because he immediately believed it was probably his son. It was someone whose high school classmate said that this was a right-winger, this was a gun nut. So who is the they there? And let's be very clear. President Biden immediately called the widow of the individual who was shot and killed by the shooter at the event. Donald Trump didn't. Donald Trump called RFK Jr. to spread deranged anti-vax conspiracies to try to suck up to get RFK Jr.'s endorsement. And Donald Trump then posted on his Trump Sneakers website a new limited edition assassination attempt sneaker. Like, what in the world are we even talking about here? And again, you won't see this on any corporate media. They don't talk about this stuff. You have to ask, why don't they talk about this stuff? And I think you know the answer now. Just take a look at this. This is the Trump assassination attempt edition sneaker. I'm not making this up. I'm not using hyperbole. This is what they call it. You go to Trump Sneakers, and it's the fight high tops. Strict limit of 3 per customer. There it is right there with the, I think that's supposed to be a thing resembling the American flag, but that ain't the American flag. But there's only 5,000. You get the fight high tops. Strict limit of 3 pairs per customer. Introducing the fight high tops. On July 13, 2024, an assassination attempt was made on Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Despite the attack, Trump stood tall and resilient, leading the crowd with the powerful fight chant. These limited edition high tops, featuring Trump's iconic image with his fist raised, honor his unwavering determination and bravery. With only 5,000 pairs available, each one is a true collector's item. Show your support and patriotic pride with these exclusive sneakers capturing a defining moment in history. Estimated to ship in September and October. This is what they are doing, and he posts that also before he calls the widow. By the way, the widow wouldn't answer the phone call from President Biden because she said that her deceased husband was MAGA. And if you looked at his posts, the types of things that he was posting, were very, very, very MAGA. And she said as a result, because he's MAGA, she didn't want to take the phone call from President Biden because she said her husband wouldn't want to. Donald Trump didn't call her. He didn't call her day after day after day. Called RFK, had all the time to call everybody else, and then made a Trump assassination attempt sneaker right here. Just want to show you what's going on in the RNC that corporate media is just letting them get a pass for. So this is J.D. Vance, who previously called Donald Trump America's Hitler. Yes, that's what J.D. Vance said about Donald Trump. He also said Donald Trump was noxious. He said Donald Trump was a massive threat. He said that Donald Trump was horrible for working class people. He said Donald Trump was a con artist. He's now Trump's VP. Birds of a feather flock together. J.D. Vance ran a sham charity in Ohio when he was getting into politics. He created a sham charity that claimed that it was supporting people who were addicted to drugs and people who lost loved ones addicted to drugs as part of the opioid crisis. Never gave any money to anybody other than his own political consultants, and hired people who worked with Purdue Pharma, who actually made the OxyContin drugs, to be his researchers. Here is J.D. Vance right now saying that they literally tried to shot them. Again, who is the they? Play this clip.
I was so terrified that we had just lost a great president, but it would have been an unbelievably terrible thing for our country in that moment in time. I was just so afraid for him and so afraid for our country. And then, of course, he stands up a minute later after they shot him. They literally shot him. And he raises his fist in the air and he says, "Fight, fight, fight." He fires up the crowd. But
that is what they are saying over and over again. And the corporate media is too afraid to ask very basic questions. Like, could we just ask the most basic question right now? Where are Trump's medical records? I don't think that's an unfair or inappropriate question to ask. You would think someone would inquire about Trump's medical report, as Michael Steele says, if for no other reason than Trump has not provided any medical updates or information, neither has the hospital that treated him. Outside of Trump telling us he's fine, how severe were the wounds? Did he lose part of his ear? Bullets do terrible things to the flesh. How long for recovery? Will the wound require cosmetic surgery? What about reports that it may not have been a bullet which wounded him, but glass from the shattered teleprompter? If I missed such a report from the campaign, where is it? Release those medical records. And I see a lot of other people calling for it as well. Bradley Moss says, it has been several days since Trump was injured. No medical reports, no statements from doctors, nothing. And the media is barely talking about it. Instead, they are discussing an imaginary pivot. And the media doesn't want to talk about the facts about the shooter and who the shooter was. I mean, let's show you some facts. You know who is reporting about it? The media in the UK. Here's Channel 4 in the UK saying that actually this family of the shooter, that they were actually targeted by Trump's database back in 2016, and the database ranked gun owners as at the level of to which they could be manipulated by disinformation from the Trump campaign. You have the UK reporters actually doing the work. Here, play this clip.
Channel 4 News can reveal that Thomas Crooks's father, the owner of the rifle that was used to shoot at Donald Trump, was held on a database and profiled by the former president's election campaign and identified by them as a strong Republican supporter, gun owner, and hunter. The information was compiled as part of a secret Republican project to gather data on millions of gun owners across America and use it to target pro-gun messages in the run-up to the 2016 election.
And here's why they did it. The city of Pittsburgh is a key battleground in the critical swing state of Pennsylvania, so voters here are always heavily profiled and targeted by political parties, like the Trump campaign in 2016, which held voters' details on a database, including, as we've discovered, the shooter's family, Matthew Crooks and his wife Mary, who lived here at 2506 Milford Drive in Bethel Park. We know they profiled them using secret computer models to identify likely gun owners and enthusiasts, and Mr. Crooks scored very highly, 0.99 out of 1 for being a gun owner and 0.95 out of 1 for being a hunter. In fact, out of more than 19,000 people in Bethel Park who were profiled, Mr. Crooks was in the top 20, and the database classified him as a strong GOP or Republican voter.
Hey, Ben Meiselas here. I hope you are enjoying that video. I just wanted to take a brief moment to talk about climate policy. It often gets overlooked, but I think it is so critical. You may know by now, as part of Donald Trump's Project 2025, they want to gut all of President Biden's policies regarding improving our climate. And in a new poll from Data Progress, it shows that voters broadly reject all of the attacks on the climate that are part of Donald Trump's Project 2025. Take a look at this most recent poll. When it comes to keeping current protections in place for national parks and monuments, preserving these and other public lands from oil and gas drilling, 75% of likely voters favor that. Prioritizing environmental justice and taking action to clean up pollution and improve public health in disadvantaged communities, about 69 to 70% of voters approved that. Protecting the consumer tax credits and instant rebates that can lower energy costs for families by $1,800 that were included in the recently passed Clean Energy Plan, 66% of voters support that. Defending the Environmental Protection Agency and upholding its ability to enforce existing rules and offer essential environmental and public health protections, 61% of likely voters support that. I can go on and on and on, but voters support the current initiatives regarding our climate, and they disfavor the attempts by Donald Trump to attack and destroy our climate. I thought it was important to share that with you. I want to go back now to the video you've just been watching. That is our climate update here at the MeidasTouch Network. And then buried in this story from a local Pittsburgh report, they talk about the Trump flags that were on this family's place. Play this clip.
Investigators dressed in plain clothes as well as FBI agents approach this house. That's where the family of Thomas Crooks lives, which is right here on Milford Drive. Then we started to see those agents going door to door, canvassing the neighborhood and speaking with people who live here. They're trying to get answers to the many questions that still remain. Crooks's motive is still unclear. Records show he is a registered Republican, and neighbors today told us that they've actually seen Trump signs outside of the home over the course of the last few years.
So again, the media refuses to just talk about the facts and the data. And the facts and the data are that the shooter was a 20-year-old white male, Second Amendment gun nut. By the way, my view of the Second Amendment, I don't think that all guns should be banned. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I believe in responsible gun ownership. Period, full stop. I don't believe that people who shouldn't have weapons of war should have access to weapons of war. I don't think that's a controversial position. I believe in common sense gun control and common sense gun reform, along with 70% of the American people. Let's be very clear about that. The media is too afraid to talk about who this individual is because it doesn't fit their narrative. It doesn't fit their narrative. We're going to talk about who it is. I mean, it's not a both sides thing. You know, Trump's making posts about demonic forces, and you got MAGA Republicans calling Democrats pedos, and you've got people like J.D. Vance praising Alex Jones. And Alex Jones reaches out to all of these speaks to all these incel kids and has a major platform for all these people. And he talks about acceleration theories. And you've got Alex Jones actually promoting horrific stuff. Well, if something bad were to happen to Trump, that could accelerate the revolution. And you got these kids on 4chan who are being targeted by this right-wing disinformation over and over again. Just why don't you focus on just the facts of what's actually going on here than pushing narratives? Here's Ben Carson, who gave a speech also promoting that they shot him, they tried to kill him. Here, play this clip.
Mere inches. And my thoughts immediately turned to the book of Isaiah, that says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." Well, let me tell you the weapons that they used. First, they tried to ruin his reputation, and he's more popular now than ever. And then they tried to bankrupt him, and he's got more money now than he had before. And then they tried to put him in prison, and he's freer and has made other people free with him. And then last weekend they tried to kill him, and there he is over there alive and well.
And then, by the way, as Trump is selling assassination attempt sneakers, I reflect on when he sold the fake gold sneakers. Remember those? Then he would fake Trump gold sneakers as a way to outreach to the black community. Remember that? And then Fox was saying, oh, this is brilliant, brilliant strategy. And then other corporate media didn't even talk about it. Here, play this clip.
Black America, because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love this is a big deal, certainly in the inner city. So when you have Trump roll out his sneaker line, they're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics. And Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
Question for you on that point, though.
Yeah.
Will the people that are excited about the sneakers and excited about Donald Trump, will that translate into them going out and voting for Donald Trump?
Well, anybody willing to put $400 down for a pair of sneakers? Yeah, I think that's commitment and love. It's something.
You're right.
It's something. It's affection.
And here's on Fox as well, them talking about it again on another show, just so you can see that they talked about it. Here's Kayleigh McEnany talking about it. Play the clip.
I love them. They're dope.
Yeah, very smart. Look, the website says this is not political, has nothing to do with any political campaign. That being said, what a contrast. You know, Trump's out there being creative and nimble, and Biden's what, in the basement or in Delaware?
Look, I've been speaking to many, many people. One of the things that they ask for, what they like about Biden, and maybe this is what the media doesn't like. They like about Biden is normalcy. May be boring. He might not be selling sneakers. He may not be engaged, but he's doing the job quietly. He's not in our face, and he's getting the job done. You know, I saw this post by Aaron Rupert that I want to share with you because I think it is, I think it's spot on. You know, and normally where there have been fascist takeovers in history, you've seen, you know, horrible unemployment, you know, foreign wars, things like this. This is what Nicholas Grossman, Rupert reposted. He said, if the United States loses its democracy, it'll be the dumbest slide into authoritarianism in history. Other cases had mass unemployment, a major war, something. None have done it with low unemployment, rising wages, declining crime, and no troops fighting in foreign wars. And that's a response to this post over here by Doug Saunders, who says, for the first time in 23 years, the USA isn't at war. It's experiencing full employment and rising living standards not seen in decades. Crime and violence are falling to record lows. It's energy independent, yet its leading candidate goes on about civilization's collapse. And then you have corporate media pushing that over and over and over again, pushing the disinformation. But look, that's why we got to keep building this platform together, and we will keep doing that. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.